Brits are a nation of food lovers.
Oh my goodness!
Hello?
Our supermarkets are jam-packed with products from every corner of the globe.
Konnichiwa!
But how much do we really know about the journey our food makes to our plates?
Wow! I've never seen it like it in all my life. Oh!
The Food Unwrapped team travel all over the world and beyond.
This is like stepping into the future.
To reveal the trade secrets behind the food we eat.
Coming up, I climb to new heights in Vietnam to see how they extract the virgin coconut oil that's sizzling away in every health-conscious kitchen.
100% pure oil.
I'm in Italy to find out what goes into my jar of artichokes.
Look at this place! Artichokes everywhere!
And learn what they have in common with a strange African berry.
And with floppy hair and a tortured brow, I set out to see why absinthe is the favourite drink of every loose-living poet.
If you consume enough wormwood quickly enough, it's going to have effects.
First, coconut oil. Right now, we Brits can't get enough of the stuff. We're sizzling our stir fries in it and even smothering it on our skin. But does it deserve its healthy reputation and hefty price tag? To find out if coconut oil is worth splashing out on, I'm off to one of the world's biggest producers, Vietnam. The Bến Tre province in the south of the country was once known as the Coconut Kingdom. There was even a religion based around this plentiful fruit. Our journey starts with a boat down the Mekong Delta.
Hi Phil, give us a wave.
Morning! Good morning, Vietnam.
But before we even set sail, there's a hitch.
Our propeller is stuck in a fishing net right underneath me, and our driver is currently doing some diving underneath the boat to untangle it.
Thanks to our skipper's super skills, we're finally on our way.
Woo! You set us free. We're off down the Mekong.
Morning!
Just hop on.
Yeah.
Our guide Fong is going to give me the coconut lowdown.
This is like a little shop in the middle of the water.
Is that a coconut I can see?
Coconut, yeah.
This is brilliant. Xin chào, xin chào. Can I buy one of these? 15. That is delicious. Where did you get your coconuts from? Let's go downriver, find some coconuts. What are those coconuts used for?
At first, they just produce some local products like candy, but recently they start produce coconut oil, and then, they can make, more money from that.
Coconut oil production in this part of Vietnam has doubled in the last 3 years because it's being used more and more as a cooking oil. Back on dry land, I'm heading into the heart of coconut growing territory.
Xin chào! Xin chào!
Now.
Mr. Kung has been growing coconuts on this small holding all his life. It's one of hundreds of small coconut farms in the area.
Oh, look at him up there! Xin Chao!
And like most coconuts the world over, they're harvested the traditional way by tree climbers. Perhaps this is why they're so pricey.
Can you show me how you do it? Come on down.
Now, I love a challenge, but this might be a step too far.
Go on, just give me a little leg up. Mr. Coon, I can't. There's no way. Help me down. You're gonna have to go and get me a coconut. Show us how it's done. No! He makes it look so easy.
It takes about 10 months for a coconut to be ready for picking, and each tree can produce up to 100 a year. This is one labour-intensive fruit. I've seen how much work goes into harvesting coconuts, which could explain the oil's hefty price tag. But how do they get the oil out? I've come to one of the biggest coconut oil factories in the area.
Hi.
Hey!
I'm meeting the boss, Dofo Loy.
So you're making coconut oil?
Yes.
Ah!
This is a fresh coconut meat.
And what kind of coconut oil are you making?
Virgin coconut oil.
The first stage to making virgin coconut oil is to make the milk. And to do that, the coconut meat is washed and shredded by a giant corkscrew.
So what happens once you've shredded your coconut?
When we make this, it's easy to extract the coconut milk.
A machine then presses the shredded coconut meat, but there's still no sign of oil. What's left is the pure coconut milk.
Don't drink just a little.
Just a little wine!
Because your stomach is not used to it, so you may go to toilets.
The milk is put through a centrifugal spinning machine to separate out the water, which results in a coconut cream. But they haven't finished with it yet. The cream is spun again to separate out the oil, and finally you are left with
100%!
Yeah, 100%.
Virgin
oil. The pure oil.
It takes about 10 mature coconuts to make just 1 litre of the oil. No wonder this stuff costs a packet.
Can I have a little try?
Yeah, you try it.
Later, I head back home to see if coconut oil is any healthier than its oily rivals.
Fire up those fryers!
Next, artichokes. Eating a vegetable should be simple, but when it comes to preparing an artichoke, you need an instruction manual. First, peel off some of the leaves. Then, peel off some more of the leaves. To get to the artichoke heart, the tastiest bit, you first have to cut out the tough part called the choke, which can stick in your throat. It's not easy getting the choke out, So how do the farmers do it? And what exactly does make it into my jar of artichoke hearts?
Well, I think that the bit that take off are being edible, actually.
I've gotcha. So it's basically the middle of the artichoke.
That's right.
I've never heard of an artichoke before, and I was actually expecting it to be an animal.
Yeah, it's more veg than animal.
Animal artichokes? Sounds alarming. So what is in my jar of artichoke hearts? I'm off to Puglia, southern Italy, where they produce more than 500,000 tons of this peculiar looking plant.
Hi there, I'm Jim.
Ciao, Jim.
Nice to meet you.
Sarah is this farm's export manager, responsible for providing supermarkets with some of the jars of artichokes we see on our shelves.
Is this the farmer?
Yes, Mr. Carlino.
Hi, I'm Jimmy.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Mr. Carlino's farm stretches across a huge area, the size of almost 80 rugby pitches.
Questo è un carciofo perfetto, è pronto per la lavorazione, è un fiore anche se noi lo chiamiamo frutto, ed è un carciofo che se lasciato poi inizia a tirar fuori il fiore di color viola.
The edible part of a fresh artichoke includes the fleshy portion of the inner leaves. But this isn't the bit of this funny flower that makes it into the jar.
Now going to show us how to prepare the heart of artichokes.
Wow,
Yes.
so that's the heart.
This is the heart of the artichoke, and this is the bottom. Here you have the leaves that have to be nice and white,
Yeah.
so that they are very tender.
But hang on, this is the dreaded choke. In fresh artichokes, these are too tough to swallow.
I always thought that you couldn't eat the choke bit because it'd make you choke.
You cook it actually during the production process. It becomes really
Okay.
soft.
So you can eat the choke without doing yourself a mischief.
Let's go. Whoa.
Time to look a little closer at how they process them.
Wow, look at this place. Artichokes everywhere.
First, the artichokes are blanched for 5 minutes in a mixture of lemon juice and near boiling water. This stops them turning brown, but it also softens the choke. Then it's heads off, leaves off, and into the jar. By which time the choke, that I thought was inedible, is ready to eat. Artichokes, anyone?
Oh, it's so perfect, so simple.
Plenty of flavor and texture.
All this artichoke talk is making me thirsty.
That's really weird. That is super sweet.
Something doesn't taste quite right.
Do you put any sugar in my water?
No, not at all. Artichoke that change your palate.
So it's not the water that tastes sweet, it's the artichoke.
Yes,
How does it do that then?
we should discover it.
Later, I find out there's an amazing ingredient in artichokes that transforms the taste of water.
In a way, the receptor of my brain's playing a trick on me.
Yeah, exactly.
Next, absinthe. The drink du jour of 19th century French artistes. Its debauched reputation even led to a 70-year ban. But is there any truth in the notion it can make you loopy?
I was talking to my friend Matt. He reckons if you drink it, it's gonna make you go mad.
One of the herbs that goes into it, it can cause hallucinations, but in the UK they don't allow for that part of the absinthe to be included.
Right.
Can it send you mad?
Yeah, it's. I wouldn't recommend it.
It used to be like it would make you see, you know, fish in a swimming pool or, you know, fairies flying around you, whereas now it doesn't.
It's been known to cause hallucinations.
No way. To see if those guys were right, I'm heading to London to scope out a bar. So no change there, then.
I know absinthe has got a bit of a shady reputation, but check this out.
But in the mystical world of absinthe, things are never quite as they seem.
Alan, Matt.
Matt, morning, how are you?
Nice to meet you. It is the morning, it's 11:30 and we're going to be drinking absinthe.
Alan Moss is an expert in this devilish drink.
So how are we drinking it? Are we setting fire to it?
Oh, no. Absolutely not.
According to Alan, there's only one way to devour this drink.
What is this funny contraption then?
Good question. So this is so-called absinthe fountain. During the 19th century, this was a classic way of people really getting together socially in a cafe in Paris, which is serving with chilled water.
So is that what you want, a very slow drip of water?
Yes, you do, and that's really because it allows the aromas to disperse. Absolutely.
That's really good.
So if the madness isn't in the way it's drunk, what about the ingredients?
So here's Absinthe Encyclopedia.
Yes, Alan's actually got an encyclopedia dedicated to this stuff.
Here's some recipes from the 19th century. They all have wormwood. If you consume enough wormwood quickly enough, it's going to have effects.
So what is this wacky wormwood? To find out, I've come to the Sussex Downs.
Julia, it's Matt.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Herbalist Julia Behrens is a regular visitor to these here woods.
I just never feel alone because the plants are always there. I always get excited when I walk past a dandelion and nettle.
Oh, that's mad. I was going to be grown up about that, but that just sounds mad.
So she obviously loves her plants. But how clued up is she about wormwood?
What is wormwood?
It's a beautiful aromatic plant that's used medicinally as an anti-parasitic, so it's used traditionally to eliminate worms.
But what is it that makes you mad? Is it the wormwood?
It's the essential oils within the plant that contain thujone.
Okay.
And thujone is a neurotoxin, so it can cause convulsions, fear, anxiety, tremors.
And who'd want that? But where's Julia hiding the wormwood?
Try and find it. Very unusual.
Well, I know what I'm looking for, yeah? Like a homing pigeon. Massive badger holes. Right, I've looked everywhere. Not having much luck, to be honest.
Enough of this foraging lark. Thank goodness Julia had an alternative up her sleeve all along, in a nearby garden.
So this is it. This is wormwood. Feels nice.
It's very soft, isn't it?
Can I try it?
Yeah.
It's kind of lingering now.
Do you feel like you're producing more saliva?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps I am starting to feel something off that wormwood. Later, how much Thujone would it actually take to mess up your mind? I've been away with the fairies finding out all about the green fairy absinthe.
But what is it that makes you mad? Is it the wormwood?
It's the essential oils within the plant that contain thujone.
Thujone is a neurotoxin that is highly dangerous if consumed in its pure form. But is the tiny amount of thujone in the wormwood used in absinthe gonna make me loopy? John McCarthy has been distilling the spirit here for the past 6 years.
Yeah, this is where you make your absinthe.
Yes, last night we put in a large quantity of very strong vodka, 90% alcohol, and then added a big weight of botanicals. The strong vodka initially is just to draw out, as a solvent, to draw out the oils. If you don't do that stage, then it won't be very absinthe-y.
These are the botanicals that goes into it.
Every absinthe will have those in them. Green anise is the biggest ingredient.
Fennel seed?
Yeah.
And what's this?
That's wormwood.
This is what makes you mad?
Allegedly. And it is allegedly. You'd have to drink so much of it to actually consume enough thujone for it to have any effect at all. The alcohol will get you long time before the thujone will. Thujone also exists in other herbs like sage in much higher quantities.
Okay.
So you're more likely to have a hallucinogenic trip after your Christmas dinner.
Okay, it's good to know.
Earlier, I visited Vietnam and searched root and branch to discover how virgin coconut oil is extracted from the coconut.
Pure oil, nothing else.
Sales of this oil are on the up back home, sizzling up a storm in health-conscious kitchens. But is coconut oil really the best one to cook with? To find out, I'm heading to the seaside to meet an expert and cook up something with a rather less healthy reputation.
I've brought a whole chip van. This is Rob. He owns the van.
Rob's in charge of the fryers and is about to get cooking.
So we've got a load of sunflower oil, we've got vegetable oil, and we've got a big vat of coconut oil. Can we get them into your fryers?
Let's give it a go.
How on earth are you going to get that into there?
With a bit of difficulty.
Our expert, Professor Martin Grudveld, has come from Leicester University for a day trip to the beach.
Hello, Martin.
Hello, how are you?
What a day!
His instructions were to buy refined versions of all the oils we're cooking with. But what's wrong with the virgin stuff I saw in Vietnam?
The problem is that's not much good for cooking unless the cooking is done at a relatively low temperature because it has a low smoke point.
And what is the definition of smoke point?
Well, a smoke point is the temperature at which an oil starts to completely degrade and lots of toxic chemicals are actually released.
The cheaper refined oils have been bleached and deodorized using a chemical process that makes them better to cook with at high temperatures.
We should always go for the refined oils simply because they have a higher smoke point.
I am very surprised by that because I'm going to think an extra virgin olive oil is going to be better for me.
It is better for you if you don't cook with it.
Let's get those chips on.
Fire up those fryers.
So which of the refined oils we're using is the healthiest, and how does coconut oil fare?
Certain types of oils oxidise very, very easily, and they generate very, very toxic compounds known as aldehydes.
And so what are aldehydes?
Aldehydes are a group of molecules which are extremely toxic. They've been implicated in many diseases, such as cardiovascular diseases. They're pro-inflammatory. They are also carcinogenic as well.
So you want to limit the amount of aldehydes in your system?
You want to limit them as much as possible.
So, are there any aldehydes hiding in these cooking oils?
This one's vegetable oil.
Martin's going to add oil to a special powder.
This one's coconut oil.
If aldehydes are present, the liquid will change colour.
And this one is sunflower oil.
Okay, so how long do we have to wait for a reaction?
About an hour or so.
Oh, plenty of time for a portion of chips.
After finishing off my chips and pinching a few of his,
help yourself.
It's time to find out if any of our cooking oils contained any aldehydes.
Ooh, those are very different colours.
First one we have here, you see that's the deepest colour.
Uh-huh.
And that's indicating there's more aldehydes generated from that particular oil.
So which oil is this?
That's sunflower oil.
It's very high in aldehydes. Right, I'm going to pop that down there next to my sunflower.
This one here, you can see the colour is still reasonably intense, but it's less intense than the previous one, and that comes from the vegetable oil.
So if you look at that next to the sunflower, it's not quite as red.
No.
But it still contains lots of aldehydes. Finally!
And finally, here's the coconut oil sample, and as you can see, there's little or no colour.
Gosh! I mean, that is basically white. So are there any aldehydes in here at all?
Little or none, yes.
Really?
Coconut oil that has been refined contains fewer aldehydes because it's rich in saturated fats, which are more stable at high temperatures. However, the NHS advice still states that we should choose oils high in unsaturated fats for cooking.
Some of the vegetable oils we buy in the supermarket are great if we use them as salad dressing. They are certainly not good for cooking because of what happens to the molecules when we subject them to those very, very high temperatures.
We ought to be using a variety of oils for different purposes.
Absolutely.
If you're cooking at high temperatures, go for a coconut oil.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just going to use it cold, you know, make a salad dressing, put it on some leaves, well, you can kind of use anything. Coconut chips, anyone? Come on, do you want one? He's been gagging for a chip all day. Come on, Neil, get us it.
Earlier, I was in Italy and found that feasting on artichokes had a strange effect on the water I drank afterwards.
You put any sugar in my water?
No, not at all.
To find out why artichokes had such a tongue-tripping effect...
I'm Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Nice to meet you.
I'm meeting taste specialist Dr. John Fry.
It is a well-known effect of artichokes. The science behind it is quite unusual.
Right, okay, so nice bit of artichoke heart. What's happening now I've eaten that artichoke?
Well, artichokes contain a substance called cynarin, so it binds to your sweetness receptors on the tongue and shuts them down.
So that prevents my tongue getting any sweet flavours?
That's right.
The water washes away the cynarin and floods the mouth with sweetness as the receptors in our taste buds are turned back on.
Water has never tasted so sweet. That is bizarre. So in a way, the receptor of my brain's playing a trick on me.
Yeah, exactly.
And artichokes aren't the only thing Dr. Fry's brought along to send my tongue on a taste trip.
What I do have is dried miracle berry.
The miracle berry is a fruit native to West Africa, and it's another food that hacks into our taste buds. While artichokes close down the tongue's sweetness receptors, these bizarre berries bind to the same receptors, making the brain perceive sour flavours as sweet. Time to put them to the test.
Pop that in your gob. Okay. Let them dissolve.
Miracle berries contain a substance called miraculin, the ingredient behind this mind-bending transformation.
What's that like?
Well, it's kind of like an orange, but it's really sherbety.
But then it tastes like other fruits.
Yeah, I can't pinpoint.
Wow, lemon.
Nice bit of lemon.
Forget whoopee cushions. These miracle berries or the odd artichoke are all I need in my practical joke kit.
It's nice, yeah.
Yeah, that's vinegar.
Really?
Vinegar.
But there is a more serious use for these berries. They can work as a sugar substitute and help patients recover their appetites after chemotherapy.
It was sour cream. Mine's worn off.
Next time, with summer on its way, it's the Food Unwrapped Diet Special.
I jet to Japan to investigate miso soup.
Oh, Mummy.
And have high hopes for the apple cider vinegar diet.
Can you feel the pounds just dripping off you already?
I ask why Italians are as lean as the linguine.
So if I was to eat pasta every day, I'd be as thin as you.
Try. And I offer up my body to science in a quest to find a calorie-negative food.
You leave me alone for like a minute.
Yes, indeed, with help from super slimmers sharing the secrets of their dieting success. Food Unwrapped here with a Summit Diet special. Next Monday at 8 o'clock. Next tonight, multiple epileptic seizures bring one man to St George's. An anxious wait for his family. 24 hours in A&E coming up.